All right, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching the channel. My name is Mark, and thanks for tuning in. And I want to first say, please subscribe, or do subscribe. It's absolutely free. And of course, you can definitely write in comments, and the thumbs up and the whole interaction with the page helps. Also, if you want to know when I do post videos, just hit the bell. It's supposed to notify you when I post videos. With that being said, I want to talk about what I want to talk about is, I wonder, do people like myself ever wondered about maybe getting out of our houses and actually starting a commercial studio, like you see with all the commercial studios that we've admired, like in LA, or maybe Nashville, or New York, or all these different places that have commercial spots. Have you ever wondered what they're really going through? What's really saving those recording studios out of all of that is clients. Because even though there are channels like mine, and I think I have just under 2,000 subscribers, and out of that, just under that, I think about 1,800 right now. It could be 2,000 or 3,000 sometime in the future. But at the time I'm making this video, it's about a little over 1,800, right? And out of that 1,800, maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe actually be thinking about, I'm thinking about starting a recording studio. Now, if you think about, I'm gonna go with places like LA. I'm gonna go with New York and Nashville. There's two factors to this recording studio. One, there's still a lot of big names in the music industry, no matter the genre. There's still a lot of rock bands. There's still a lot of R&B bands. There's still a lot of country singers. There's still a lot of hip hop. There's still a lot of EDM. There's still a lot of different genres, dance music and everything else. So, and even though I have 1,800 subscribers, and some channels have 2,000 subscribers, some channels have 5,000, some have 10,000, some have 1 million. I think Rick Beato has over 2 million subscribers. But you would think, man, 2 million subscribers, that's like ridiculous amount of people, right? When you have that many subscribers, I don't think Rick can ever possibly be able to interact with all 2 million. He would never have the time, even when he does live streams. I've watched where he did live stream, and when people tune in, people are posting comments, and you can see the chat comments, but they're going by so fast, you don't have time. So he's probably missing an average of 1,000 or 5,000 comments that people, anything from just people saying hello or trying to get a response, or because some people don't understand the magnitude of that many people, and sometimes they may feel that they're being ignored, and some people leave channels because of that, because they may feel that they're being ignored, when in actuality it's just that many people. Just impossible. Not everyone's going to feel that way, but that's just the nature. And it's even with me. I have 1,800 subscribers, but I don't get a chance to see everybody's comments. Sometimes people subscribe to videos they've seen that I did a month ago or a year ago. I don't know that they posted on that. I had to go back and check the video or analytics or whatever, to make a long story short. The reason I'm bringing all that stress, because I was bringing all that can add stress to being a commercial studio owner, is because what's saving commercial studios are clients. So I look at it, let's say, and I think about this all the time, is the reason why I never really want to try to get in large amounts of debt to open up a commercial studio, because it may not be worth it. as much of a dream as when we go to these commercial studios and you see the commercial studio. You walk in there, you'll see the reception area, and then you walk down the hallways to the control rooms and to the live rooms. And there's always photos of celebrity artists, some of the big names that's been to that studio. You'll see the album. You may see a Beyonce album on the wall, or Jay-Z, or Drake, or a Rolling Stones, or whatever. It could be George Benson, or it could have been Michael Jackson when he was alive, or Prince when he was alive, or Luther Vandross when he was alive, or Whitney Houston when she was alive. You'll see all these different artists and the gold and platinum albums that they recorded at those studios, and then you go in there and you walk into the control room and you're like, oh man, this is so awesome to walk in here. Most of them are still going to have a going to still have a large or pretty good sized mixing console. They're going to have all these nice pieces of outboard rack gear. They're going to have speakers in the wall, studio monitors right in front of the desk. They're going to have the ambience and the lighting is going to look right. They're going to have the panels, and the rooms are going to be, angled in certain ways, and they're going to have couches, and that's just in the control room. Yet alone walk into the live room. You walk in the live room, there's this big live room. They got the tall ceilings. They got all the acoustic panels, the whole nine. The whole building. We've seen this, and then you can walk down. Between going to there, they're going to have a waiting room or a little lounge area where there's some speakers or TV to relax. Let's do some music. There's some couches in there. They might even have next to like a little eating area where you can get some food. There's food in the refrigerator or vending machines. Or there's a personal kitchen in there where you can get some food. They have an outside area where you can relax outside, sit on the deck. And just, whatever, when you're not in the mood or you're not in the recording session or, whatever, they're prepping, whatever the case may be. And of course, there's always, maybe some rest areas. They might have a place where you can sleep. And, you have another place where you can, you can walk and go into the recording studio and you might want to be able to, be able to just get away when you're not working. With all that, this is why they charge an hourly rate, $50, $100, $150 an hour. That doesn't seem bad for 1 hour, but sometimes they have a minimum 3 hour minimum that you can book it. Minimum. So they're going to make at least $150. You have to be there for at least minimum 3 hours, whether you stay for 3 hours or not. That's what they're going to charge you for. They also can charge you for non-show, so that's why it's a lot of them will take prepayment, and whether you come or not, if you don't show up, you lose your payment. There's so many different factors to that, but with all that being said, some people might need the studio think they only need 3 hours, and when you understand the magnitude of what it takes to get a record, now we're getting hours. It gets into hours. And that's just the recording process before we get into the actual mixing portion. Because mixing comes after you do all the recording. Now it's time to mix it. Then after it's mixed and you get the final mix, now it's time to be mastered. Once it's mastered, now it's time to get it distributed. Manufactured and distributed. Whether it's going to be digitally or on a hard copy. So that being said, consider this if you ever thought about wanting to open up a recording studio. I would say consider this. You got to consider the cost, and can you afford to take on that type of risk? Now, I made some notes because no matter what, I made your regular living expenses that you're living on now, that's not going away. What's going to happen if you open up a commercial studio? You're going to add on all these expenses on top of your living expenses, which means to yourself, can I actually afford to go the commercial studio route? Right? So with that being said, of course, when you're living in your apartment or your house or whatever the case, your studio apartment or your loft or whatever the case may be, you're going to have to pay your rent or mortgage, whatever it is. It could be $600, it could be $1,200, it could be $2,000 a month. That ain't going away. Your lights, your gas, and your water, your utilities. $200 or $300 for lights, $50 to $100 for gas and water. And then you still have your cable and internet, which could be $100, $200. You still got to have your car insurance because you're going to most likely own a car. If you don't have a car note, like me, all my cars are paid for. But you still got to pay car insurance. Then you still got to get your food, right? You got to eat. So that could be $100 to $200, and the way the prices are going up because of the shortages, $200 to $300 to maybe $400 a month. Then you're still looking at gas for the car. Then you're still looking at maintenance for the car. It's going to, no matter what, brakes wear out, tires wear out. You're going to need oil changes. Cars break down, transmissions fail, engines break down, radiators fail, AC systems go out. And you still got to pay your car, you still got to pay your cell phone. So with all that being said, those are expenses that are never going away. Period. Just never going away. So luckily for me, with all those expenses, all that, and my cost monthly is under $2,000 a month on that. So being that the commercial side, what you still got to consider is you're gonna, and not only gonna what you're spending on your personal expenses, and yeah, loans. Some people are gonna have credit card debt, loan debts, and everything else that are not included in these expenses. That that's why you want to get rid of your credit card debt and your loan debt as fast as possible. So that's going to go to the commercial studio side. If you thought about, well, I would love to have one of those nice, facilities, like Blackbird out of Nashville, or I would love to have a facility like East West out of LA, or the Electric Lady out of New York, or the Hit Factory out of Miami. These type of, and there are still major commercial studios like that. There's still lots, even though they always talk about recording studios are closing. We're talking about the commercial studios that were, I would say, you have your top level, your mid level, and then your entry level commercial studios. And that's the guy the entry level guy is the guy that's financing everything himself. Out of every little dime, he's working a second job or third job, or he has a partnership with 2 or 3 other people that are all collaborating and getting equipment, utilities, supplies, materials, everything to make that entry level or base level commercial studio run. Those are the ones that usually fails. Like when you talk about businesses that go out of business during like pandemics or whatever, well, the ones that fail are usually the mom and pop up business. McDonald's, Burger King, franchises that are like, we're talking multi-billion-dollar franchises, they're not going to fail. They're just not. That's why McDonald's is still open. That's why Wendy's is still open. That's why Burger King is still open, and KFC and Taco Bell. Businesses like that never, because they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. They got so much money backed up that they can make it through a pandemic. The small ones can't. And of course, the mid-grade would be, the mid-level commercial studio would be the commercial studio where it's the, you got the nice control room, the nice live room, lounge, reception area, offices, maintenance office and all that, but it's just one control room, one live room. That's as much as they can afford to do that. That would be a mid-level. So the base level and the mid-level are not that much difference, other than the mid-level has built up enough clients to keep themselves going. And they have enough what we call independent artists, unknown artists, as well as even a few major artists going to those mid-levels. Because being an artist, there's base level artists, there is mid-level artists, and then there's mega stars. So they kind of intersect and so then you got your top of the line. We're talking world class, the best of the best recording studios like Abbey Road, Blackbird. We're talking Hit Factory, Electric Lady, East West, Oceanway United, Westlake. It just goes on and on and on. And all these major, because they're not only just doing clients, they're doing movies and films and orchestras and stuff like that. So let me check my time. Okay. All right. So what is it costing? We're talking the staff. The staff would mean now you're a staff of engineers, assistants, engineers, because interns aren't hired. They may hire as an intern, but they're non-paid, so I don't really consider that to be hired. That's just like saying, okay, there's a difference between being hired, which means I'm filling out a W-4 and W-2s and all this stuff, and I'm going to get, I get the salary and all that. A non-paid intern is not a higher position. That's just saying that, yeah, you can come in and hang out. Just keep your mouth shut. Hey, go get us some coffee. Hey, the bathroom needs to be clean, that kind of. And we'll let you shadow and watch what we're doing. That's internship. I'm like, as much as I know now, and I've been doing this for 25 years, ain't nowhere where I would be an intern. If I was to try to go get a recording studio now and they didn't want to accept my credentials, even though I was with an independent record label and I've been in recording studios and been engineering recording for years, off and on top of my military career, back and forth. If they don't want to accept my credentials and knowing that I, did work with a group that actually hit Billboard and we had, all that, and they don't want to accept that and still want to treat me like an intern and don't get, and I knowing what I have in my own recording studio, whether it's here or even my big setup upstairs, I would rather just work in my own home recording studio. And I know I can rival some of those recording studios with my knowledge. So with that being said, and that's not being arrogant or cocky or nothing like that, that's just fact. So staff. Now we're talking, if you're going to run a commercial studio, you're definitely going to need staff. You're not going to be able to do it all by yourself. You're just not. Because you're going to need management. You're going to need someone to manage what's going on in the studio as well as trying to manage clients and booking clients. You're just going to need that. And you're going to need to get other engineers to help. You're definitely going to want to find at least one or two people that are good at maintenance. And I'm talking about repair. I'm talking about being able to repair equipment or have some idea how to reduce some basic repairs. You don't always have to have them be able to tear down a console. But you might want to have them be able to at least be able to do some basic soldering, some basic wiring. And then, of course, something that just majorly broke, of course, you're going to want to send it out to someone that can fix it, or have someone that you could pay to come in and fix something. But basic maintenance, and that's just equipment. You also going to want to hire someone. You're going to want to have at least one maintenance tech that can work on the building. And you don't want no intern. They always talk about, well, the intern's going to fix the plumbing. You don't want no intern that don't know anything about plumbing. You want an actual plumber. That's like hiring an intern to go out there, your car break down. Hey, can you go rebuild my engine? They don't, unless they are certified master mechanic. No, they're not touching your engine. So you don't want people making interns or people that you're gonna let hang out fix stuff they're not qualified to do. That's So the staff, you're definitely gonna want to at least I would hire at least a couple of managers, studio managers, a manager and assistant studio manager, at least two. That one, once the manager can concentrate on the building and dealing with, making sure they're dealing with, working with the staff of the building, as well as you and you letting as you as the CEO or the owner of the studio what's going on. And then you're going to want to hire a receptionist. This person is going to, when you start putting yourself online and you get yourself a receptionist that, because people are going to start calling the studio to try to book it. And you're going to need a receptionist that knows how to answer the phone, know how to take good, proper notes, how to keep good, accurate records that are on the computer, Excel spreadsheets, all this good stuff. You want a good receptionist, and the manager makes sure the receptionist is handling that. So you want at least a couple of managers the receptionist, and then on top of that, at least some maintenance crews, and at least one or two other engineers, and at least one engineer and a couple of assistant engineers or whatever. You want that. So now your staff, we're talking at least 7 to 8 people. At least 7 to 8 people. So now we got to pay these people, and you got to pay them a decent. You got to pay them a decent for them to stay. No one's going to work for crumbs. I'll pay you $8 an hour. Nobody's going to want to work for $8 an hour. So you got to consider that when you're going to open up a facility, whether you're getting clients or not. And you're probably not going to have any clients because this is a competition. People are going to go. It's like the same thing if you think about it. There's Firestone, there is Mighty Key, there's Midas, and all these muffler shops and shops. Here come your shop. And I said, what do? Mufflers. You think they're going to start going to your shop? Some people will because they want to know if you got a competitive prices. But most people are going to go to Mighty Key or Midas because they have the reputation, they got the advertising. It's a long drawn out. Anyhow, I'll run out of time. So staff. Now we got to work. Now you got to worry about marketing because you're gonna have to market your recording studio to get clients. So you got to have people working on that. So you're probably going to want to hire 1 or 2 people to help market building your website. Getting your stuff in. Whatever the case may be. So now that's just people. We ain't even got to the bulk of everything else. Once you already staffed, and the staff can come last after you get the building established. But if you get the building, whether you got the building built or not, the minute you find you a building, whether you're going to rent or buy it, the rent or the mortgage is going to have to be paid every month without fail. Now your house may be $100, $800, but your mortgage or rent for the building might be $3,000 a month. To rent, lease, or buy. That might be $3,000 a month. And if you ain't got no extra money coming in, you're not going to be able to afford even the first payment to pay the bill, yet alone do everything else in this list. You're going to have to pay property taxes every year. So you're going to have to tally what revenue in streams that you came, that's going to have to come. You definitely going to have to get liability insurance. That means someone gets hurt on your facility, someone trips on a cable, break their, whatever, a piece of gear fall on their head, and they keep you from getting sued, so they take your studio. Equipment insurance. You definitely want to get insurance for if the equipment fails, stolen, or broken. So you consider all those costs. That's cost is going to come monthly or annually. Without fail, regardless if you're successful or not. Most people don't consider that. So think about next time you think about this, whether you look, we're all glorifying about whether it's BOP Studios, East West Studios, Soundstage Studios, RCA Studios, Abbey Road, Blackbird, East West, United, Westlake, Conway, Air Studios, I'm just naming recording studios. That's what they're paying every month, whether they have clients or not. Most people don't think about it like that. Think about that a lot. And if they run out of funds, this is the reason why the ones that get hit hardest the first is, remember I said that mid-level and that base level commercial studios, they take the biggest hit because at least the bigger studios are still going to not only just get celebrity clients like your Beyoncé's or Jay-Z's or whatever to come to those studios. They still get hired by Paramount and Fox and TriStar and all these to hire them to be able to record films and bring orchestras and all that. They still get hired to do that. And do movie soundtracks and all that. They still get paid big money to do that. That's why they can survive without, if celebrities like when COVID hit and all these celebrities like Mariah Carey or whatever, they can't come to the studio. Well, they're not worried about that because they're still getting lots and lots of money to do a film recording or whatever. The mid or the base levels don't get those type of clients. They just don't. It's a competition. So let me check my time. Okay. So other than that, your last one-time expenses, materials. You're going to need materials for the steel, wood, carpet, sheetrock, the acoustic treatment, the soundproofing, building chambers and plates, the cost of the gear, such as the consoles, monitors, mics, cables, wiring, rack gear, stands, furniture, lighting. That can run you in excess of $100 to $1 million plus just gathering all that. That's why some studios get a lot of used gear. But finally, it's a competition. Out of you doing all that, you're competing with studios that already have reputation. They already have reputations, and they already have established clients. And here you are, a new studio. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to compete as a new studio, because people just aren't going to, because you build a new studio, don't mean people, are going to just knock on the door. Now, you might get some independents or unknowns, but most of the time, most of the independents unknowns don't have the money. They're not paying Beyonce or Mariah Carey or Jay-Z or AC/DC kind of money to come to your studio. They don't have it. Most of them are looking to try to get something for little to nothing. Most people are. So that's now you got to consider all this cost. You got to tally up all that cost. Is it really worth it? The next video I'm gonna do about the home studio. Is it worth it? Now naturally, if you're doing it for yourself, of course, naturally it's worth it. But if you're gonna do a home studio, but you're still gonna cater to clients, the fish just got bigger. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll do a part 2 on the home stuff and consider the cost for that. All right. We'll see you in the next one.